Located in Spielberg, Styria, Austria, lies what's now known as the Red Bull Ring. Originally was on the F1 circuit back in 1964. It was an airfield before it became the F1 circuit of choice in 1970 for Austria. At that point, it was known as the Osterstrike Ring before being dropped from the calendar, brought back on 10 years later with a new name, the A1 Ring. Spent a little bit of a stint on the F1 calendar, dropped again, and then 7 years later, the A1 Ring was dropped, and Red Bull picked up the track and renamed it the now famous Red Bull Ring, and it has been a staple on the F1 calendar. It is on the calendar here tonight for the boys at CSRL, and this is probably one of the easiest tracks on the entire schedule here. You're on the throttle majority of the track, probably about a good 70 to 75% of the time, if not more. You're on the throttle here. Not a difficult layout of a track, but it is one where you kind of need to get into a flow. You need to put yourself in the right positions, and that's all when it's dry. Not dry tonight. The clouds have opened up. We've got a wet track out here tonight. If you tuned into the CRN last night, we had some crazy weather at the Dover race for the Core Xfinity Series with just a ton of fog. Well, those clouds have lifted here, traveled over to Austria, and have opened up, and it is a wet track. And this track went from being an easy race and probably one that these drivers may have overlooked a little bit. They're going to have a little trouble out there now, so we'll see what they can do out here. But this is CRN's coverage of the CSRL GT3 Series round number 7, coming to you from the Red Bull Ring. Carl Hamwick joined in the booth by Joe Sullivan. And Joe, this is not exactly just a walk in the park anymore.
No, it is not. And we have plenty of storylines heading into this race. And the rain is just going to be another one of those. I mean, like you said, this is a pretty easy track, but then you throw the rain into the mix here for these guys tonight, on top of the championship implications that we have, all the drama there, and we got some new faces at the front in practice. We'll see how they qualify here, and maybe we'll have some new faces in the top 3 after the race here tonight. But it's going to be kind of upside down here, it seems like, so far from what we've been watching here in practice.
Yeah, I mean, in practice times, we've seen some of the names that we wanted to see at the front. We've seen last week Colin Winslow was able to take the win at Sebring, but not for a lack of effort from the number 3 of Craig Jancic, running through the field and nearly running down the leader and grabbing a win there. But take a look at the standings here, and through the first 6 races of the season, Craig Jancic on top of the boards, as looks like it's for some reason cut off a little bit. So you go ahead and bring the rest of it in here for everyone to see. But it is Craig Jancic at the top of the boards in the pro class, but still somewhat close, and is still nowhere near being over yet, as he's got 261 points. Colin Winslow in second, 247. Siviani Madrigal still within the realm of possibility there in third place, and he looked like he was pretty fast in practice here tonight, so we'll see if he can kind of jumpstart his championship run here at the end of the season. Over in the M class, new leader at the top, Antonio Avendano Diaz, not at the race last week, was able to obviously use a drop race for that, but he is going to drop out of the points lead. Brandon Potts now in the lead by a mere 2 points over not only Antonio Avendano Diaz, but also a hard-charging Jim Herrick up there, tied for second in the points. Christian Ortiz Torres right there as well with 238, and even Randall Ayers, who, I mean, just Mr. Unlucky left and right, and legitimately could be leading this point standings by 20-30 points if things have gone his way. It certainly has in qualifying for the most part. It's just the race trim just hasn't been working out for him, but still right there in the mix with 237 points in that 5th place. So, I mean, Joe, this is, again, it's a track that probably a lot of people, a lot of drivers out here have looked at and thought, okay, well, this is a track that is not that difficult. I can get out here. I'm familiar with the track. Should be able to put on some good laps here. And do you think maybe some of these drivers have overlooked this, maybe looking ahead in the schedule a bit?
Yeah, you know, that's if you're familiar with football or in kind of other sports, you've heard of the trap game, and that's something that was another storyline for you for tonight is, you know, we got 2 tracks in the next 2 weeks that are pretty difficult, and then sometimes you can kind of overlook an opponent or a track in this case to where you maybe not put as much time in, or you're like, hey, I need to work on next week and not so much this week. So this could be a quote unquote trap race for some of these guys if they are not on their toes tonight and have put the time in and the practice. And then you throw the rain into the mix. So, I mean, it's just another thing to throw it in here to give us some more things to talk about, some more drama. And, you know, the old trap game, you never know what's going to happen here. So it's going to be exciting here to watch and see who can come out of here and in one piece and finish.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the key. I mean, again, this was set to be the easiest race on the schedule, in my opinion. I guess you could look at maybe you know, Watkins Glen a little bit earlier being a decently easy one as well. But this one, you know, very little bit of corners out there, and really, I don't want to say, you know, just an easy track, because, you know, every track has its little quirks, and even here, there's plenty of places to get it wrong. But even when you get it wrong here, there's plenty of runoff. You got the, you know, the kitty litter pretty much at the exit of every corner to get yourself back on. But again, the rain is the big factor out here tonight, and I think that's why we're seeing some of the new faces out here. You know, we talk a lot of times about drivers being short track drivers or drivers being road course specialists. You know, when you're looking at the oval series, or you know, even look at horse racing, and some horses are better running in the mud. Well, we're going to see who the better wet weather drivers are here tonight, and may not be the typical names that you're seeing, as we've seen in practice. Some of our you know, top guys in the championship. Greg Jansig was only you know, just in the top 5 there in practice, and looks like right about in 3rd place right now overall for qualifying. And even Brandon Potts was down there dead last in practice, so not sure if he was getting a lot of laps in or not, but it looks like he's picked it up a bit here in qualifying, but still only 4th overall in the AM class, and going to be starting back there in 12th as it stands right now. Still some guys out there putting in some qualifying laps, but we've got the gauntlet coming up here to finish out the season, and that's, you know, that's what brings in the whole trap game scenario here with Red Bull Ring, as the next 3 and final 3 races are coming at you hot and heavy, with Mount Panorama next week, following week being the Nürburgring, which is just, that's about 6 awful tracks together just in one single lap. Maybe not awful, bad word, but difficult. We'll go with that. That's the easiest term for, without me cursing on air here. And then you got Suzuka finishing this thing out, which is certainly not going to be the easy one to finish. But I mean, this one just got just as difficult as the rest of them. Again, you're going to have some room to, you know, to kind of spray the car off if you need to. And I mean, I've seen just in my little bit of running in the rain that sometimes the grass actually has a little bit more grip than the typical lines, because, you know, Joe, I know you've had a little bit of time in the rain, but the typical lines that you're taking through these corners are not necessarily going to be the fast ones here in the rain.
No, when the rain gets going here, you pretty much drive the track opposite. You know, you are entering like you wouldn't at all in a dry track. You're pretty much just flip-flopping the corners, because you don't want to be on that rubber, because when the rubber gets wet, it just gets slick, and then you're trying to find any kind of grip that you can. So, I mean, you're going to be seeing these guys run some weird lines, but that's where the grip's at, and where they're going to be able to get around in these corners. So, I'm excited for this race. There's a lot of new names up at the top here from practice and in qualifying. I mean, some guys who. I mean, I don't want to say are like on the slower pace side, but like they're maybe just more consistent at their speed. And in this kind of weather, you kind of need that. You don't. I mean, obviously you can't be too fast, because then there's just not enough grip out there. And then you got these guys who are up here, and let's see if they can get a good finish and maybe make some more drama for the championship here.
Well, that's what we like. That's what we like, a little bit of drama out there, and hopefully everybody out there in CRN Nation likes it as well. Thank you for those tuning in, and if you haven't done so yet, hit that like and subscribe. But Drivers are done with their qualifying. Let's take a look at the qualifying results here, starting with the Pro Class. Colin Winslow, last week's winner, right there at the top of the boards, but Craig Jancic gets in a late lap there, and actually, for some reason, it's not showing Brendan DeLima up there, but Brendan DeLima actually is in second place in qualifying. Then Craig Jancic in third, Silviani Madrigal, Joseph Carnes, Dan Herrera, Peter Moeller, Skylar Vickroy, Herbert Pineda, Jim Dutton round out your top 10, and then you got Brandon Powell, as my mouse just decides to hide on me. There we go. Brandon Powell, Frank Bassano rounding out your pro car field. Then in the M class, on the front again, Randy Ayers out there. Jay Little in second, Justin Tucker, Brandon Potts, Stephen Price, your top 5, Christian Torres, Jim Herrick, Antonio Diaz, and Ian Wilson are going to round out your 9 car field here in the M class. But we are under pace cars control right now, and you see how just treacherous it is already. And we'll hop on board with Antonio Avendano Diaz here in the beginning of this race. He's buried back here a little bit in the pack, and just show you how difficult it is here on the start of the race.
This start is going to be crucial for so many of these guys. You know how the visibility goes way down here, and then on top of double wide here, and then getting into turn 1. The start of this race is going to be crucial for a lot of these championship contenders, and for the guys who want to contend for this win here tonight.
As we are green flag racing here at the Red Bull Ring, and you already see some guys kind of dipping out here and there, trying to get some visibility into turn 1. As we are 3 wide already, some bumping and banging, and
Antonio
maybe
getting
4 wide there.
Good job there through the corner. Oh, he's in the grass a little bit.
Dipping in the grass, so he's going to have to fall back a little bit, but you see how much spray is coming up there. As DeLima losing it here early on in the race, just going wide.
Oh man, that's nice. Jay Little dropped internet.
Try that again, and not sure where it was showing that DeLima had his little bit of issues, I guess, as considered running a little bit wide there. I'll take the 90-day, I guess. But back in the pack, I think just from these drivers going a little bit slow here through these first couple corners, because I didn't really see any kind of mix-ups here. And hey, a little kiss, little smooch there. But all in all, these drivers have gotten away safely for now. That's about the best way to put it. But Colin Winslow is your leader out front, and I mean, just visibility-wise, this is definitely where you want to be. Take a look on board with Colin Winslow. Obviously, with the wipers on here, you can see pretty easily, just tiptoeing through these final corners, working that steering wheel, working the throttle just to get the power down. Up on board now with Craig Jancic. Totally different story, just white spray all up in your face there, and he wants to run the same line as Colin Winslow because it's going to be the faster line here. Not too much rain on the track, so they can take, for the most part, the normal line here, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see some guys venture out to the outsides of these corners to try and get a little bit more grip. But everybody has the wet weather tires on right now, and judged by the forecast, I don't think these guys are going to be coming in for any kind of dry tires throughout this race at all. But again, Colin Winslow at the front here, Craig Jancic in second, Brendan DeLima in third for your pro class. Over in the M class, a nice start here, knock on wood, for Randy Ayers here in the 66s. He's in 4th place overall. So maybe a bit of a wet weather specialist here is Randy, trying to get away from everybody. Doesn't want to have anybody around him, I think, in these first couple laps, just to exercise some demons in that case. But quite a ways back, all the way back in 10th place overall, is just right on time. A little bit of a bumping and banging there, as Brandon Potts is going to get shoved out to the outside. He was in 2nd place overall in the M class,
up there,
and now drops back to 5th. So Justin Tucker is going to be in 2nd.
More guys just dropped from the race.
And I hate to see that.
Stephen Price,
yeah, I hate to see that. We've had that once before, where the rain was just not kosher to some people's systems and the internet, and We had one or two races where quite a few people dropped, and it could just be the iRacing servers as well. But Justin Tucker, Antonio Avendado Diaz, your top three in the AM class. But take a look back up front here. Ray Jancic hanging right there with Colin Winslow, and you figure he's just hanging around there, just baiting him a little bit. Probably doesn't even, well, I mean, normally I'd say he's probably just content following him and then maybe getting a little bit better fuel mileage. But in the rain, I don't want to follow anybody. I want to get out there. I want to see where I'm going.
Yeah, if he's going to get that close, he's going to want to get around him because, I mean, the closer he gets, the visibility just gets worse. And then you get too close, and then, you know, he mixes up just a little bit, and then boom, you're there. But Colin Winslow, another beautiful paint job on that car.
Absolutely. It's good that he's not behind anybody. I think he'd be lost in that white mist in the rain here. It goes a little bit wide. Jansen gets right up to his back bumper. No pass just yet. As he's going to hold in position, and looks like we had a couple other incidents here. Dan Marrero here registering as a crash, but again, we've seen a couple quote-unquote crashes, and I think this is another one here. And yeah, just maybe a little bit wider, a little bit slow through the corner. Turn two here. Well, actually, it's not turn two. I think it's actually, yeah, it's either turn two or turn three. I forget. Either way, the hairpin right there at the top of the hill. For some reason, SDK likes to register that as a crash for everybody that goes through there. It's just because it's a slower corner, so they get mixed up as some kind of issue, but no issue there. Brandon Powell having a little bit of an off-track excursion here, a little bit of a trip through the kitty litter, but all in all, safe and back on the track. And then Jim Dutton, a little bit of drifting here. We're not at Suzuka, so it's not Tokyo drifting just yet, Jim. But he's going to get it back out there and get that pink Porsche back in line. But up front, it is still Colin Winslow leading the way over Craig Jancic, right behind him in second place, Renato de Lima. Good run for him. Good run for the man that was a former AM class champion, and haven't really seen him show his stuff yet in the pro class, but currently running in third place. And again, I'm gonna try and shift this thing around. I'm not sure why it's not showing him in the classes here, as he is definitely in third. But all in all,
Yeah,
Joe, a pretty good start for these boys.
It's showing up on mine, so I don't know what's going on with him, why he's not showing up on there, because I was wondering why it showed Carnes in third, but 6 seconds back, and I was like, well, there's a car right there. He's not 6 seconds back, so that's weird. I thought it picked him up right as soon as he took the grid, but I guess it didn't. There we go.
All right, there we go. Need a little refresh. And
refreshment
should be good to go. Just wants to show up on mine as I just decided to disappear on mine. Let's try and reload the whole thing for everybody out there. But again, as it stands,
yeah, we talk about like cars for each track, and it looks like the Porsche was the car to pick here tonight for these guys. I don't know if that's just it felt better getting through these turns, or if it's a car that gets better around in the rain, or what the deal is with the Porsche here tonight.
well, I think it's been one of the cars.
A car that it works good here dry?
Well, I think it's more along the lines of being one of those cars that the newer version here of the Porsche has been labeled as a pretty good stable car. The first iteration of the Porsche GT3 in here was a bit of a beast. It had a ton of power, and you felt it anytime you got on the gas. But the newer version here of the Porsche is a little bit more stable, and I think that's really what you want out here tonight. Of course, you like a car that's fast. There's a lot of straightaways here, and you really got to capitalize on speed. But tonight, with the rain, you want something that's going to be stable. And I think it's why you see a lot of Porsches out here. You see quite a few quite a few Audis. The Ferrari, I think I'd want to be out there in the Ferrari here tonight. I know Joseph Carnes out there, Saviani Madrigal, and Justin Tucker out there in the Ferraris. Good on them for trying it. I mean, that thing can be a handful in the dry conditions. I can't imagine it being any better here in the wet conditions. But we've got a field that's starting to spread out here a little bit. Some of the guys that clearly know how to handle a car in the wet weather doing very well here, especially the ones that are up at the front with Colin Winslow, Craig Jancic, and Renato de Lima, your top three. in 4th place overall and top of the boards in the AM class, Randy Ayers. Then 2nd place in the AM class right here is Justin Tucker, and Jim Herrick now up into 3rd. Brandon Potts has been slipping back from the start. He is now back there in 6th position. So your points leader having a bit of a rough night here into the rain, but plenty early in this race.
Oh, definitely, and I'm surprised to see Siviani back in 8th because he was the fastest car in practice. So that is kind of wow. I don't know if he got a rough start or what happened there, but he was your fastest car in practice leading up here.
Did have one incident earlier, but I think there's another one where just going off track here a little bit. Yeah, no harm, no foul right there. Oh, never mind. There it is.
Ooh,
there's some of the harm right there. A little bit of a slide to the outside. Going to lose a couple positions. 3 and possibly.
Oh, another 4. One spinning. Oh, Antonio. Your second in points.
Go back live and take a look at what we missed here.
Looked like he looped it and somebody got into him. Not sure who hit him there.
Yeah, under braking there, and I'm wondering if it wasn't Brandon Potts, because Potts ended up something happened with Potts. I didn't. Oh, actually, it looks like maybe he just kind of blanked out a little bit, but it doesn't look like anybody hits the 87, and he got back going there. But right before that, Jim Herrick looked like he was involved in a crash as well, but I think this might just be another one of those just slow corners registers as a caution. And yeah, indeed, that's what the case was.
That is weird. That is very bizarre. He doesn't even get off the track.
Brandon Potts early into the pits and now really struggling still off the track there, and that is live. You're looking at him right there as he is back in 7th place in the AM class, but already taking his pit stop here on lap number 5. And I would assume with these drivers going a little bit slower here tonight, there's probably a good chance that he's good to go now all the way up until the end of the race. So maybe, just a rough start and kind of not working too well in traffic, deciding to come in here, taking a short pit, and hoping that he can kind of run a little bit freer now and pick up some better time and maybe pick up some positions as everybody goes through their pit stalls. But it is 11 minutes into this race so far. We're over a quarter of the way through, and we've had some guys not liking this rain here a little bit, and there's another one right there, Jay Little, sideways on the track, as it's turned into a very rough neighborhood out here at Red Bull Ring.
Man, I was really excited to see Jay Little here tonight. I think he qualified 2nd in the AM division and was fast in practice, and it had the computer issue there, and then now it's just another issue. And probably in an event like that, I've been there. We've probably all been there, where you just have one moment and then it just snowballs, and then you just try to figure it out and get something going.
Your leader having a moment here. Craig Jancic gets on by. Brennan DeLima gets on by. So new leader overall is the 3 of Craig Jancic. Brennan DeLima in 2nd. Colin Winslow obviously gains it back under control there, but you see, I mean, just almost kind of like a little bit of a lazy spin there. We'll take a look at it again and hop on board and show you what exactly he experienced here. The double left-hander, everything under control here, and then goes into the second one, grabs another gear, and the back end just does not like it, and just a slow, lazy little spin there, and he loses a couple positions because of it.
Yeah, and on dry tracks, I have that problem with that car a lot. It seems real tail happy for me. If that's just a nature of that car or the way I'm driving it, but I couldn't imagine it in the rain like that. That's why I was kind of surprised that so many people are with the Porsche here, but so I don't have near the experience that these guys have, so obviously they know something way more than I do.
See Jancy even having trouble just getting the car turned in and rotated into the corner there. And I'm wondering if, because of the slower speeds, you're not loading those rear tires as much with a lot of weight when you're getting into some of these corners, and some of these corners are a little bit faster. So I'm wondering if the fact that the Porsche is not a front engine car, if that kind of helps out a little bit, try and get that weight a little bit further towards the back of the car.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. And I mean, the drivers obviously understand that, and are, you know, when you come out of a turn, you're usually trying to give it full throttle. I mean, there's no way that's happening right now. So it's just kind of being, you know, a smooth operator as it goes, you know, and putting down, just trying to keep it in between the lines.
We'll take a ride on board here with Craig Jancic, your leader here, and you just get to listen how easy he's got to get on this throttle coming out of these corners. And here, not fully on the throttle until that car is completely out of the corner and back going straight.
How about Randy Ayers? I mean, he's up in 4th overall here tonight. He knows how to get that Porsche around.
See how much he's just working that wheel, and yeah, exactly. I think it's just the fact that he's gotten through the first 10-15 minutes now without any kind of issues, I think is a big bonus there for Randy Ayers. It seems like if he can get through that first portion of the race, he's kind of he's usually good to go. It's just that those first maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 laps that something seems to always happen to him, and he's gotten through it so far. So knock on wood, good job by the 66 tonight. Brennan De Lima,
your second place car.
Having some issues, and we'll take a look right now as he was in second and not too far behind your leader. Maybe just trying to get a little bit too much. We've seen riding on board with Craig Jancic, could not get that car to get in there and rotate. And you see just again another little bit of a lazy spin, and right in front of Colin Winslow. And you see he's got to back that Audi up just to get it back going, and losing quite a few positions all the way back to 5th place in the Pro Class, 6th overall. So that's going to move Randy Ayers up to a podium position overall right now, and he's got 5 cars in between him and the next AM Class driver.
And Colin just barely got through there. I don't know how close that was from that view that we had, but I mean, going from leading this race to having his issue, and then a lap or 2 later, he's faced with a car in his way there.
Let's take a look at that one more time from the view of Colin Winslow. I mean, again, it's bad enough trying to navigate this track, and then you got a car spinning in front of you. You see it's completely blind.
Yeah,
does
really
not see it at all. Then all of a sudden, there's a car facing
that was close.
That is not fun at all.
What a good job to avoid him, though. I mean, even if he had to get off track a little bit. And just, like a blind turn there, and you're coming around there, and you're trying to keep your car under control, and then to have the wherewithal to make that right-hand turn and get out of the way there.
Last thing you want to see coming through that blind corner there is a car facing you, and in the racing line as well. I mean, I don't think there was... He made just a split-second decision if De Lima moves at all, if he drives forward at all, he's getting into him. So a great job by De Lima just holding the brakes and waiting for the right opportunity to just kind of get his car out of the racing line, as any kind of movement there would have probably been a disaster for both him and Winslow. But as it stands, that gives a 6-second lead to Craig Jancic at the front, and that's not what you want to see if you're trying to reel in your points that are here tonight. The 3 with a 6-second lead out there. We'll see if Winslow has anything to reel him in. Madrigal now up to 4th place in the Pro Class, and turning in some pretty decent laps, and enough that he's reeling some guys in, and now already up there challenging for another position there with Herbert Pineda, as this is the battle for 3rd place in the Pro Class. Pineda in the 105, the black Porsche coming at you right there, and then Silviani Madrigal in the Ferrari right behind him. We'll see if he can move himself up into the top 3 again. Like Joe said, very quick in practice here tonight, but just not a good start to the race.
He was just playing the long game. He just you know, stay out of the way the first lap or so, and just let this thing settle down, and then he can you know, do what he did in practice there, and put down some laps and try to gain them on that way, you know, and let these guys who've had issues have their issues, and then, you know, as he almost has his own issue. He's able to keep that under control. But just, you know, be the smooth operator and work your way through the field there.
Craig
I'm
Jancic.
surprised like Craig's only got 6 seconds. You know, I mean, Colin spun and was like stopped for quite a while. Like, seems like he should have more than 6 seconds, but.
Well, yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. He seems like he's,
you know,
just kind of running a consistent lap time right now. That's kind of what he's looking for. He's running in the mid 142s, which is still good. I mean, it's still the fastest laps out here, but certainly there's more in the tank than that if he so chooses, and actually just turning at 142.1 that last lap. And Colin Winslow right behind him is going to turn in, it looks like a 142.4, so losing 0.3 of a second just on that lap right there. So, and I feel like we're going to see that too. I feel like these drivers, even though they had some time in practice, they had some time in qualifying to kind of get used to this track, getting a feel for it in the race is still completely different, and the lap times are certainly going to drop off, not just from the fuel getting lighter, but I think from these drivers just getting a little bit more comfortable with the conditions, and just, you know, kind of pushing the issue a little bit, which could bring in some late race drama, which, Joe, you know, we both like that.
We love that. We love that. You know, and the track's changing itself. I mean, the water's going to be cooling up in different spots, and these guys are going to have to try to find, you know, from lap to lap, it's going to be different, and try to find where that grip's at. And that's, and Simeone does it again.
Big old moment there by Madrigal, and that's going to bring De Lima right up here in the mix, as, again, he was running up there in third for a while, and then in second before he had his moment, but now sitting right there in fifth place in the pro class, and right behind fourth and third. So 3, 4, and 5 are right here on the screen as we cross the halfway point in this race. Already seen a couple guys coming into the pits. Justin Tucker into the pits, and he's going to come back out in front of Brandon Potts, but Brandon Potts is out in front of Antonio Avendano Diaz. So that could be a big turn of events here, and a little bit further back in the AM class as well, as they're running 6th and 7th right now. Not what you would expect from your number 1 and number 2 guys in the standings, but the other man in second, tied for second, isn't second in the race right now. That's Jim Herrick. Another good run here for the 40.
Yeah, like we've talked about, if Jim can stay out of trouble, he always finishes really good. Same with Randy. You know, if he can avoid the trouble, then he's going to finish good. So, and these guys are chasing Potts and Diaz for the points championship. So, if they finish where they're at right now, we are going to have a 3-race battle, you know, for the rest of the season for that championship, with the rest of these tracks just absolute gauntlets. So a little more drama for us to get through here. But they still got half the race to go here, so a lot can happen, and it can happen in an instant. So
yeah, Craig Jancic trying to run away and make it just not fun for the rest of the pro drivers the rest of the season in regards to fighting for a championship, and I can't blame them. There's plenty of talent here in the pro class that can jump up and surprise you and grab wins away. And we've seen Winslow last week get the win at Sebring, so he doesn't want to see Winslow keep getting on that string and get a run going here to finish out the season and make it interesting. He wants to try and capitalize and get out there, grab some more points, and shut this thing down. Maybe a race early and go on a bit of a victory tour at Suzuka, but nobody can say that in the AM class here, as it's going to be wide. It was wide open coming in. It's going to be even more wide open the way it's running right now. But as Joe said, you see through the S turn there, definitely some water pooling up on that inside line, and that is a no-no. You don't want to touch that. The biggest thing that you don't want to do here in the rain, pretty much anywhere, whether it's inside, outside, you don't want to touch the curbs. The curbs are ridiculously icy with this little bit of rain on there. I mean, you think about it, you know, rain on top of paint, and then you try and get a little grip on that. There is no grip. You're just going to slip, and you're going to slide, and you're going to spin that car out. So you got to avoid these curbs as much as possible. I mean, it's amazing. You go out here on a dry car off the track on these curbs, but not the case here tonight, as looked like Jim Herrick blinked out there for a little bit. Either he did or I did. Either way, we're
I think you did, because you cut off for a second, and I slightly panicked because you were gone. and I was going to bring it home.
Well, we're back here, but yeah, as I was saying,
that was my heart. So sorry about that.
But yeah, curb's bad, and the puddling is bad as well. You don't want to catch that puddling because it feels rather like it feels in real life. If you're driving your car down the road and you see a big puddle on the road and your tires catch it, you hydroplane a little bit, it just kind of pulls that car to the way of the puddle. That's what it does here in iRacing too. It's very realistic here, and that's what these drivers are facing. So if you're not careful and you catch that a little bit of water, you know, on the entry of the corner or going through the corners, you see it on the inside line there, it's going to yank that car around and it's going to upset it. Could potentially do exactly what Colin Winslow did earlier in the race and spin that thing out. But we've got a pit from third place in the pro class. Siviani Madrigal in the pits here on the 24th minute. So we should see a lot of these guys coming in here in the next couple laps, and see how it's going to shake up the standings here a little bit, because this is it can be an easy pit road to get into, but if you touch those lines anyway on the way in or the way out, you get dinged with a penalty very quickly, and that can be the end of your race. But we've got 15 minutes left in this race, so it's gonna go quick. You need to nail that pit stop, get back out here, get those wet tires, back up the temperature, and try and check out from everybody else.
Yeah, now looking at it, as much curbing as here at this track, the Porsche makes total sense. I mean, I know it's more nimble than the other cars, you know, and it's a lot narrower. So, and when you know, real estate is at the limit here, at the very minimal, you want the smallest car you can find, and then the most nimble car as well. Ooh, Frank.
You see right there, and we'll take a look at it one more time and literally illustrate what we just got done talking about. You see Frank on the entrance to the corner as he's going to brake, clipping that curbing just a little bit.
Right on that curb.
And
yep.
you see the car just stepping out a little bit. Does collect it, but then when he goes to the inside, clips either the inside curb or maybe a little bit of setting water on the inside, and that is right there. You see the car just stepping out immediately and spinning him right around. So that is how quick and how treacherous this rain is out here for the drivers here at CSRL. But I want to thank our sponsor here, one of the sponsors here for the series, and that being right what's on the car here, and the man behind the curtain, Jim Herrick in 4D Racewear. Check out 4dracewear.com for the original racing shoes for your feet, and I want to thank him for being one of the sponsors, jumping on board with us for an event that's coming up in 10 days time, and that is the second annual running of the CRN Coke 300. If you're an Oval fan, if you're an 87 NASCAR fan, you're a fan of CRN, definitely tune in and check that one out, as it was a great run last year. I expect the same thing this year. Already got a good sized car count, got some great sponsors on board with us as well that are going to be giving out surprises, and never know, maybe surprises out there for the fans of CRN and those out there in CRN Nation. Maybe we'll try and get some giveaways to the fans out there as well. But tune into that one again in 10 days time on May 11th at Joe, correct me if I'm wrong, 9 o'clock for the race for that one.
Yes.
Okay, you sound really sure about that, so I'll let you double check that one.
Time zones is what gets me, because
you're right.
You're Eastern, I'm Central, and
semantics.
I think it's 8 Eastern, so
okay. Well, yeah, either way,
it's 8 Eastern. Yep.
Yeah, Saturday night, 2 Saturdays from now, gonna be a good one, but we've still got to finish this one out, and Jay Little having a little bit more off-track issues there. We've still got quite a few drivers that need to come into the pits. I've got a little over half of the drivers have already made their pit stops, but your top 7 overall, that being Craig Jancic, Colin Winslow, Randy Ayers, Herbert Pineda, Renan De Lima, Skylar Bickroy, and Jim Herrick, and then also Jim Dutton just coming in the pits right now. Those are all the drivers that had to make a pit stop yet. Jim Dutton now in pit lane to make his pit stop. We'll see when our leaders decide to come in. Get pretty late in the race here, and again, with the slower conditions out here, you're able to be off the gas more. You're able to save gas more, and that's why I think you're seeing these guys get a little bit deeper into the run. But De Lima looking for a pass down the backstretch. Feels like it's been ages since we've seen a pass here on track. As they head down into turn number 5, going to have to back out and run in behind, at least try and get that car in there. A little bit of crossover here from De Lima, gets the power down, but just not enough. Going to try to switch back and get to the inside, but not going to happen. You see these guys battling right behind Randy Ayers, and if you're Randy, you got to be looking in your mirror a little bit. Just say, guys, just please calm down. I'm leading this race again, please.
Yeah, he might want to consider just getting his spit out of the way now. Exactly. and getting out of the guys' way. I don't know if he has a spotter or a crew chief, but I'd be calling him into pit road. Let's get some fuel in this thing and then finish it out.
So taking a look at the lap times here for the leaders, you see it kind of ebbing and flowing a little bit. Winslow picking up a half a second on that last lap though. So maybe trying to make a little bit late run here, but unfortunately you see a couple laps before that losing 0.6 of a second. So Winslow is slightly faster right now, but he needs to be more than slightly faster. He needs to be about a second faster a lap and possibly even more to be able to catch Craig Jancic, but you never know how the pit stops work out, as Skylar Vickroy and Herbert Pineda now in pit lane. So that leaves only 5 drivers on the track. Your top 3 right now in the Pro class, Jancic, Winslow, and De Lima, yet to pit, and then your top 2 in the M class, Ayers and Herrick, have yet to come in. And taking a look back in the field, again, your points leader here in the M class coming into the race, Brandon Potts still back there in 6th place, right behind Jim Dunn right now, but that is not for position. The next position ahead of him, as it gets a little bit squirrely there, coming through the final corners, is Ian Wilson, and Wilson is quite a ways ahead of him, about 2 seconds ahead of him right now. Actually, sorry, even more than that, 5 seconds ahead of him.
Oh, we got
but
big
side
one.
by side, and Mott's gonna get into the corner and get it done there. Again, not for position, but he wants to try and get around everybody he can so he can catch up to the next car in line, which is for position. But we've got some action here, and not sure if SDK is wrong about all of these crashes here. I mean, this was coming in turn number 3 here, so wouldn't be surprised if this is an issue here. But we'll take a look here at Siviani Madrigal, going a bit wide there, and you got to just be tentative coming back over the curb, and he does, and he's back on track. Pineda right behind him, going in the same corner. Take a look real quick just to make sure everything was okay with Pineda. And same thing, it just got those new, I mean, not new tires, but they're cooled down a little bit for coming in the pits. So just got to get them back up to temperature, back up to pressure. De Lima and Herrick now make their way into the pits. That leaves only 2 drivers out there. Both your class leaders, Craig Jancic and Randy Ayers, are the only ones that have yet to come into pit road. These drivers will need to make a pit stop, so you're not going to see these guys run, green to checker without coming into the pits. They will need to make at least a pit stop here to get enough fuel to make it to the end. And if you're Jancic, stay off those curbs. Those can be absolutely deadly. Seen him really having to work the wheel coming through that corner. I'm sure we'll see the 3 come in either this time by or definitely next time by. And
yeah, say if he's going to come in here, let's jump on board with him and see how he gets into the pit road here.
That's exactly what I was thinking about doing. Is you see, you have to get all the way to the right there, and you see how much he's just working that wheel, working that throttle.
Oh my goodness!
And then getting it down to the pit road speed. You see all the standing water. I mean, obviously out there in the track, these drivers are spraying that water out of the racing line as much as possible, but the pit road obviously doesn't get used that much. So there's plenty of standing water coming in and going through. And how about Randy Ayers going around for another lap?
Ooh, is
Randy
he gonna lead a lap?
Ayers in at the M class. It's going to be closer. Can he get out ahead of Craig Jancic? Going to be close here on the exit of 1. Looks like Jancic is just going to get out ahead. Oh man, I mean,
wow.
Heck of an effort there from the 66, and maybe Jancic realized he's on some colder tires, not up to pressure. Maybe he lets Randy get by here. No, probably not.
No,
he's going to just settle
mist.
back in here. But yeah, just exactly. Spray him up a little bit, but we should see Randy Ayers coming in this next time by, as both of these guys have had a fantastic run out here tonight. Winslow is in second, Madrigal in third in the pro class. Jim Herrick in second, another good run again by the 40, trying to make his way up there in the points. In second coming in, and considering Brandon Potts back there in fifth, looking pretty good for the 40 to maybe take over the points lead, as Diaz is stuck back there in seventh place right now. So the rain not exactly being kind to the 87, but we are down to 6 minutes left in this race, Joe.
Yeah, and you can just see how...
the leader! There goes Craig Jancic around right in front of Randy Ayers, so Ayers may end up leading a lap after all, and there is the change for the lead. Drama late here at Red Bull Ring puts Winslow back in the lead. What a turn of events here. We'll take a look on board here.
Was it on the gas or was it on a brake situation?
I think it was just that the tires still not heating up yet. And big and spin and slide right there. And I mean, you got to think if you're Winslow coming through here again, sees a car right off to the side, and you hear him almost kind of goose the throttle there a little bit. I think just overly excited that he can get the lead back. And yes, indeed, the 19 back out in front, looking to go back to back here. And you see Jancic getting a little wide there in turn one, getting on that curbing. And I think he's going to be pushing really hard in these last couple laps. 5 minutes left here at Red Bull Ring.
And only 2.4 seconds behind, so not terrible, but not ideal either. But at least he's still there. He's still within range here. If Collins to have a mix-up or another moment, I mean, he could be there to capitalize. But you know Craig's going to be, like you said, pushing hard because you know he wants that back.
Yeah, driving like a pissed-off teenager, I think, is probably the best terminology to call it. And already gaining a bunch of time on him, already down to 2.1 seconds. This race is far from over, but he's got to make sure that car's underneath him. I mean, both of these guys now have spun from the lead, and both really in the same section of the track as well. The section we're going through right now. So I would imagine these guys are going to tiptoe at least through that section. You see Jancic losing a little bit of time right back there from Winslow. So this is the kind of turn of events that we like to see, especially late in the race.
And Randy Ayers, Craig was going to be able to get back to Winslow, Siviani is 10 seconds back. You know, like we talked about, he had speed in quality and practice, but he's there if they kind of get together or have their issues.
See him coming out of the final corners right now, and again, I mean, props to him for running that Ferrari out here tonight. It can't be anything but a handful out here in that thing, but doing a great job out here in that third place. Randy Ayers has come in, made his pit stop, and is back out there and is enjoying a 21-second lead. And that is what Randy Ayers can do when he can get through the first 10-15 minutes of a race. He can dominate in the M class, and he really should be up there in the points, but with all the unfortunate events in the first couple laps of some of these races, that just put him behind the 8 ball here a little bit. But looking for another win here in the class. Jim Herrick again in second place, and he's got a nice 4-second lead over Christian Ortiz-Torres in third. Brandon Potts slowly but surely making his way up the running order, now sitting in 4th place. So this is definitely a damage control race for the 25, and doing a pretty good job so far, but my eyes are right up here, as this lead was just tickling under 2 seconds that time by. We'll see if they get the white flag this time by. It's going to be close. It very well could come out this time, or maybe 2 to go this time by. But either way, this thing is coming down to the end. 2-second gap from first to second.
I think Craig's wanting another couple laps here. So don't do the white yet. Give me one more lap here. Let me see if I can do something.
Up on board, see if we can see Barney waving that white flag this time by, and I think it's going to be 2 to go here, Joe. I don't think we're going to see the white flag, and indeed,
no.
Either Barney fell asleep or we are 2 to go, and Jancic still has a chance. Winslow's going to have to be perfect for these last couple laps. That's about the only curbing you can grab on the inside there of turn 1. You can take it a little bit without it upsetting the car too much, but down to 1.8 seconds just like that as Jancic picks up a couple tenths of a second that lap. And it's going to be very interesting here, a very interesting ride for the last couple laps. And take a look at the gearbox here of the 19. Maybe you can see the 3 back there. As you see, just the
you can see a couple of headlights.
the ominous lights there. It almost looks like you're watching a horror movie. You can see the lights in the woods, or the 2 little beady eyes looking up there. And I'm sure for Winslow, it is a bit of a horror story as he sees that 3 just way too close and gaining just a little bit here and there. It is down to 1.8 with about a lap and a half to go.
You ever seen that movie called The Mist?
Yes.
Terrible ending, so.
Yeah, absolutely.
I won't let it for anybody, but.
A typical Stephen King ending is what it was, plain and simple.
Yeah.
You see right there, again, Jancic was reeling in. Winslow gets a little bit wide, gets on that curb and gets loose. And that little bit that he gained, it goes right back to the wayside again. So we are going to see the white flag this time by as we're going to click over into the 40 minutes, the 40-minute time frame this lap. And we look to the right up here. Barney has woken up. White flag in the air. 1 more lap to go for Winslow to go back to back here and just give a little thought. And maybe some dangerous thoughts creeping in the head of Greg Jancic here late in the season, pushing hard in through turn 1, goes a little bit wide, gets a little bit loose, but certainly gains some time right there. It's down to 1.4 seconds.
And how tight is Colin gripping that steering wheel right now?
There's a lot of things that are probably tight right now. Let's just put it that way, as he's got, I mean, just really technically a few more corners left in this race. Again, there's not many corners here in the track here at Red Bull Ring, and getting a good exit right there out of turn number 3, and sends him down the backstretch here as he gained almost a half a second right there just on that backstretch. But you see Jancic throwing it to the inside, getting there as quick as possible, gaining a little bit of time back, but I think this charge is going to be a little bit too little, too late. But both coming into their tricky section right now. The start of sector number 3 here at the Red Bull Ring, the double left-hander. This time, Jancic keeps it off the curbing. Both these drivers are going to get through the double left-hander and head back out, and that's going to be music to Winslow's ears for sure, as he's got 2 more corners before he secures the victory here. And what a victory it's been. I mean, a very up and down race for a couple of these drivers, especially for these first 2 guys in the pro class. But it is going to be Colin Winslow, back-to-back race winners here. Wins last week at Sebring. Your winner here tonight at the Red Bull Ring. Greg Jancic going to have to settle once again for 2nd place, and this is a bit of his own doing. Well, I mean, really a gift from Winslow early, and then he gives the gift right back, and he's going to finish in 2nd place. Siviani Madrigal going to grab 3rd place here, and he's got to be happy considering how the start of his race went. Randy Ayers gets through the first 15 minutes, and the rest of the 25 very easy for him, as he's going to win by 22 seconds here tonight. Great win for the 66. Jim Herrick coming around the final corners here, looking to grab his 2nd place here tonight, and a good points night could potentially vault him up to the top of the standings. 2nd place here tonight in the M class for Jim Herrick. And then right behind him, Christian Ortiz Torres going to round out your top 3 in the M class. Brandon Potts going to come home right there behind them in 4th. So your points leader is going to lose too much, considering he was back there in 6th and 7th early on in this race. So a good fight back for the 25. But Joe, drama, just the way we like it.
You know, then the real loser here tonight for the M class is going to be Diaz. I mean, coming in 2nd in points, 2 points behind, and finishing 6th behind all those guys that are in the hunt here. So he's got his work cut out for him these last 3 races to try to get himself back up there in this conversation. I mean, he's still right there points-wise, but momentum-wise, man, it seems like right now, Herrick and Ayers has the momentum, you know. I mean, Potts has been running really well, but tonight it just didn't seem to have it with the rain here at Red Bull Ring. But man, I wish we had a live thing of the points to see where everybody was at, or if we could get that, because I'm already excited to see where the points are at and how that's going to shake out heading into next week.
Yeah, absolutely, no doubt. Well, we've got some of our guys in here ready for interviews. We'll get the rest in here, and then we'll kick off these interviews. But man, what a race here at the Red Bull Ring. The ring did not disappoint. The rain did not disappoint, as well as these drivers had some mishaps here that they probably wouldn't have had if it was dry conditions.
Yeah, we talked about in the pre-race there about potential trap race and guys not being on top of their game, and we've seen, I think, just about everybody have a moment for themselves, get a little bit loose or spin it out completely. Other than maybe Randy and Herrick, I guess maybe Torres, I didn't see anything out of him. Everybody had their moment here tonight.
Well, speaking of moments, it's about time to bring these boys in here, and we'll start with the M class here tonight, and we'll start with Christian Ortiz Torres. Just need to grab him and bring him in here, and there he is. So, Joe, why don't you go ahead and take our third place finisher here tonight, the 71 of Christian Ortiz Torres.
Hey there, Christian, you got a copy?
Yeah, copy. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we got you. Hey, so you come away here with a third here tonight. It looked really hard out there. How was it there in the driver's seat of that car here tonight?
Definitely hard. Difficult race, and pretty much driving the car as careful as I could, and making sure I got enough braking done at the beginning of the turn, and so that I could safely come out of the turn.
It seemed like a lot of guys were in the Porsche here tonight. Is that a car that you usually drive, or is it just it felt good here for this race?
Felt good, and I wanted to try something new. Also, this track is new to me in a race. I've driven it probably on my own, but today in a race, and it's exciting.
In a race and in a rain, and you come away with third?
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty impressive. So the points here in the AM class is shaking up to be quite interesting, and your name's in the ringer there. So we got 3 races to go, and it's not going to get any easier. So what do you think your chances are here this next couple weeks?
Definitely. It's going to be tough because the guys on top are definitely competing against each other. They're definitely good. They got the pace, and I have to just practice a lot and try to keep up with them.
Well, anybody want to give a shout out to?
Just the CFG racing team and my girlfriend, my family in Denver, and all of you guys for putting this together.
All righty. Well, congrats on the third, and we'll let you go celebrate.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Yep.
It's your third place finish here tonight in the AM class, the 71 of Christian Ortiz Torres. Second place tonight is going to be the 40 of Jim Herrick, and Jim, just another consistent good performance here for you in the 40 machine. It didn't look like anybody in the AM class, and really quite a few in the pro class had anything for Randy Ayers out here tonight in the AM class, but you got to be happy with the second out here. I mean, it looked like treacherous conditions out there, and you keep a good points night in the bag here.
Yeah, it was pretty sloppy track conditions tonight, and yeah, Randall was just quick. He stays on track. He's hard to catch, so I didn't really have too much for him. I don't think I even saw him the entire race, but yeah, just track, to stay focused on and just be consistent and bring home some good points. So
give a little shout out to the sponsor here. It's a 40 Racewear. How important was it with those? I'm sure you're wearing those 40 Racewear gloves for your feet. Just using the throttle here tonight. It wasn't a track you can certainly jump on the throttle coming out of these corners.
No, it's great to have that connection to the pedal. I can really feel, every slightest movement of the throttle, and I really get a really good feel for the brake too. I'm starting to finally figure out the braking in the GT3s. I normally race the high downforce cars, the Indy car or the prototype, so it's taken me a little bit to sort of get the feel for these cars. But yeah, having that ability to just be connected with your pedals and know when the car is right at that limit and starting to lose grip, and then being able to pull back, and realize that, where your pedals are and how much to give it or not give it.
Well, given the beginning of this season, probably didn't expect to be as far up the standings as you are coming into this race. Now leaving this race, good possibility you're going to be in the lead heading into the final little stretch of the season. So what does it mean to you, and what do you think you need to do to get this thing done this year?
Yeah, after the first two races, I didn't have really high hopes for the rest of the season. I had a couple really bad beginning to this season, but we got our focus back, got to some tracks that I know a little better, and it's just had some consistent finishes and scored good points. So we're up near the top now, and the next couple races we have are going to be, I think, kind of survival races for everyone. I'm not going to try and push things really hard. I'm not going to try and extend my lead or anything. I'm just going to do what I've been doing, stay focused, try and hit my marks, and run consistent laps and finish the race.
Well, hopefully the boys here at CSRL and the weather hold off and you guys get some dry races, because the next couple of races certainly don't need any rain to make them any more difficult. So it was a good job getting the second place here tonight and get you ready for that gauntlet to finish out the season. But before we let you go, who do you want to give a shout out to or thanks to on that 40 machine?
Yeah, just shout out to 40 Racewear, our sponsor, teammate Dan Marrera, my wife, who lets me do this all the time. She's wonderful and I love her, and family might be watching me tonight, so say hey to everybody there, and just thanks to you guys for doing these broadcasts. They're really fun to watch, and to Jim and the other admins for putting on a good show.
Well, we certainly appreciate it, and looking forward to the show already for next week at Mount Panorama. But go celebrate the second place here tonight, and we'll see you next week at Bathurst.
Sounds good. Thank you much.
That is your second place finisher in the AM class, the 40 of Jim Herrick. Finally, in the AM class, your winner, he survived the first 15 minutes of the race. So he is now the winner here tonight. Joe, why don't you go ahead and take Randall Ayers?
Oh, Randy, you was able to avoid any kind of calamity here tonight and had some really good pace. I mean, you come home fourth overall here tonight. I mean, talk me through what you had here tonight in the rain here at Red Bull.
Yeah, super happy with my pace. Good qualifier, and got up in fourth in qualifying, fifth, something like that.
Yeah, fourth place. Yeah.
And just kind of tried to keep my braking points long, and modulate the throttle coming off the corners. Just don't do anything sudden or in a large amount, and try to just keep the car on the track. Found the dry spots and just try to do my line lap after lap.
Yeah, it seemed like the rain, got some guys who maybe normally aren't up front and had some good pace. It seemed like the pace was down because of the rain, but they were able to get up there and have some new guys up at the front, but you stayed away from trouble, and when you do that, you always are up here in the booth in the top three, and we're able to get the win here tonight and get yourself back into the championship contention here, and really going to flip this thing upside down here as you were chasing these guys and coming away with a win here tonight. It's going to propel you up there. So we got 3 more races to go. Are we looking forward to some of these races, or what's on the schedule that's not going to suit your style?
Absolutely. All the upcoming races, are at, tracks that I enjoy. I mean, Mount Panorama, love that track. Nürburgring combined, love that one. And Suzuka is probably my favorite track of all of them. So, these are fun ones for me coming up. And hopefully, again, I can do well at the Nürburgring and Suzuka tracks. I like Mount Panorama, but sometimes it doesn't like me.
Yeah, it's Jekyll and Hyde, as they say, and you never know what it's going to bring, especially when you get up through that mountain. Your problem may be because of somebody else's problem, and there's just no way around that sometimes, and that's just racing. But if you keep doing what you've been doing since we've been broadcasting here and watching you guys, if you were able to finish the race, you're going to be in the top 3. So you've had pace just about every track we've been to, and you're going to be chasing these guys. So in a championship race, do you feel more comfortable in that, or would you rather be in the lead and just trying to hold these guys off?
I'd rather be in the lead, but I think I'm in a good position. I just need to keep pressure on them, and they'll be looking in their mirrors. So.
Yeah, and that's, you drive differently when you have to maybe kind of defend, or you're keeping an eye on somebody else, as the hunted or the hunter, so it's a different kind of driving style and a different kind of mentality. And like I was saying earlier, you and Jim have the momentum riding with you guys right now. And if what you're saying is these next 3 tracks are some of your favorite, the competition is in big trouble.
Well, I'm just going to do my best, and hey, you never know, that could be their favorite tracks too. So,
well, you guys have been putting on a good show and giving us plenty to talk about. I mean, these races just fly by with all the storylines and all the drama that you guys are providing, and the good racing that you guys are providing. So keep that up, and we will see what the next couple of weeks bring. So before we let you go, anybody want to give a shout out to on that 66?
Yeah, hey, thanks to the whole group, the admins of Casual Sim Racers League, and to you guys for putting this on every week. It's really enjoyable, having a great time, a lot of fun racing with these people, and keep up the good work.
Well, we appreciate that. You guys just keep putting on a good show, and we just call it like we see it,
I'll do my best.
All righty.
All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
That is your winner here in the AM class, the 66 of Randy Ayers. And I mean, again, yeah, he's dangerous. If he gets through that first 10, 15 minutes of the race, he's going to be up there and he's going to challenge. And he walked the field here tonight in the AM class. Third place in the Pro division here is going to be the 15 of Siviani Madrigal. And Siviani, got to ask you, you're running some really good laps, really good pace in practice, and you qualify maybe a little bit further back than we expected, back there in 5th place, and a little bit of struggles in the beginning of the race. You come home in 3rd, but do you feel like something slipped away here tonight?
Yeah, well, actually, first of all, thanks, guys. Everything. Well, it was, as you said, so it was really, really weird in the quality. I just made a couple mistakes where, unfortunately, I wasn't able to make a best lap time right there. But yeah, so I started 6th, I guess. And yeah, I start thinking, I now have to be, very careful in the start of the race. And it seems like I have been extra careful in the first turn. And everybody passed me, right? So in that turn, I was thinking that everybody's going to be careful as well. But yeah, so I just see 2 guys, one on the right and one on the left on my side, and I just keep it like that, stop it, and didn't move it. So yeah, because I know that something wrong can happen right there. But yeah, so it was I was also lucky in the middle of the race, because when I was on 8th position, something like that, I also made a mistake. And so I was just a hard race, I guess. And that mistake cost me like 3-4 more positions. And then the guys in front of me, they were like 3 guys in front of me, and they made a mistake too. And I just have the chance to go through those 3 guys in the same turn. And that was, pure lucky, right, from my side. And that helped me a lot, to recover a little bit. And so I ended up again here. So I think it's a lucky race for me today.
Yeah, all in all, I mean, it's all about the finish, and that's really all that matters. But I mean, you talk about the chaos in the beginning of the race. It's chaos even in the dry conditions, but here in the wet with all the spray, all the cars around you, and the difficulty seeing is it just adds that extra factor. But you do the sensible thing. You let some of the guys by. You fall back a couple positions. But how difficult was it to pass out here? I mean, it's so hard to try and judge any kind of opportunities here. So what was the difficulty out here passing? Just the visibility, or just kind of understanding your opponents out here?
Yeah, well, so the big problem in rain to overtake someone is that you can miss the line where the line that is a little bit more dry in the track, and if you try to overtake in the braking zone, if you are not in the race part of the track, so you definitely will lose the car, and that's the hardest part. So I also think I have like a 3-4 laps behind someone right there, and I was trying to not to put so much, and that's just waiting for the right time, because I know if I try to overtake someone in the braking zones, that it cannot have ended up very, very well. And yeah, it's very hard. So in draining especially, it's so hard because you have 3 factors, I will say. The race line that is a little more drier, also the visibility, right? So when you are behind a car, all the spray everywhere, so you just see like a wide fog in front of you. You don't see anything else like that. And also, having the chance is also the most important part, the most important thing. It's hard. So overtaking someone in the rain, you have to think very, very well, at least on my own, right? So I'm not an expert driver, and every time I might drive in rain, so I just prefer to be careful, cautious, and not make so hard decisions in the race.
Well, it certainly helps when the guys in front of you lose it, and you're able to pick them off a little bit easier. That makes the passing that much better. But again, either way, it all matters at the end of the race here. And you come home with the 3rd place here, a good finish overall for the night. 3 races to go, but right now, celebrate this 3rd place here tonight. And before we let you go, who do you want to give a shout out to or thanks to?
Well, again, to all you guys. So thanks to all you guys in this amazing broadcast that you did every Wednesday, and also to the admins of this league, and also to everybody seeing this broadcast, because they also bring a little bit of emotions and feelings to these racers. And I think thank you to everyone.
Well, once again, congratulations on the 3rd place. We'll let you go celebrate, and we'll see you next week at Mount Panorama.
All right, so that will be a hardest one as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Probably won't be able to race next week because that was my birthday, and so I will see how the things coming up next week from my side. And it depends on the parties and all the celebrations. I will see.
Understandable. So if we see you weaving a little bit, we're happy to see you on track, but partying a little bit hard. Gotcha. All right. Well, maybe we'll catch you next week. If not, happy birthday, and we'll see you when we see you.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Have a good one. Take care.
You too. That's your 3rd place finisher here tonight in the pro class. The 5th, easy for me to say, the 15 of Simeone Madrigal. It sounds like I'm partying for him a little bit.
Is it your birthday?
Yeah, exactly. It's actually my wife's birthday today, so happy birthday to my wife out there. 2nd place here tonight is gonna be maybe a little unfortunate for him, but the 3 of Craig Jancic. Joe, why don't you go ahead and take our 2nd place finisher here tonight?
Craig, I know that was not the finish you wanted, but you made it close there. You and Colin going back and forth there, and made it quite interesting for us to call there. Talk me through your race there a little bit.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate, honestly. It's unfortunate that either one of us spun any times, to be honest, because I really think we were dead evenly matched, Colin and I, and would have been really cool to just race it out instead of having both of us have our own misfortunes. Good win to him, of course. Nothing but respect to him. He's a really welcome addition to the group here, and keeps everything really fun. And he's a really good qualifier. So definitely something that I'm going to need to actually take a couple strides on to try to beat him long term. We're going great. We were going smooth. I was honestly learning a couple of things behind him at the first 3 or 4 laps before he did have his spin. And, I'm glad that as soon as I was able to get in the clean air and not have the spray, I automatically saw 2/10 coming off my lap time. So I knew that I was able to pick it up and adapt it. And I knew that if I was able to just not screw up, we probably would have kept the race and came away on the top step of the podium. But I just got on the paint line that one time into whatever the heck that corner is called. Just took that one slip up. I had a bunch of saves because I got on the paint line a ton of times in the corner before that. Had a bunch of saves in the corner before that, but I just couldn't save that one lazy spin. And that's the difference between P1 and P2 tonight, unfortunately.
Yeah, we seen you following him there after the start, and you got right up on him. And were you trying to maybe take a pass there, or was it just too hard, or was it just? I mean, passing was obviously at a very limited here tonight. You pretty much had to pass when somebody in front of you had trouble. So, or did you just kind of want to sit back there and like you said, learn a couple things?
Yeah, I took the time to learn a couple things, and I had figured that they might work. And I really wasn't pushing the issue too much. Easy for me to say. I really wasn't pushing the issue much at all with him, and it ended up being that the only thing that I saw that was even going to be a possibility of a pass was going to be being able to just probably turn one. If I could get the perfect exit, I would have enough of a run, and the dry line, well, quote unquote dry line, was wide enough for 2 cars into that next turn after. And that would have been realistically the only thing I really would have felt comfortable with, even trying. Rain line's super narrow here, so that made it complex. But I don't know. I was honestly content with P2 because even if he gains, 2 points on me in the championship, it's still a really, really a massive comeback that he'll have to make. Looking forward to 3 tracks that I absolutely love. It really was going to be a pretty safe race from me, so I was going to be okay with first, second, hell, even third. So, yeah.
It looked like you made a couple pushes there on the last lap and tried to get up there to him somewhat close and try to make it a little bit interesting and not let him, come away with this back-to-back wins here and like you said, gaining 2 points, but that's 4 points in the last 2 weeks. It's still a pretty good margin, but with these tracks coming up, you never know what could happen here, and you could have problems that wasn't your problem, especially going up through that mountain.
Yeah, we got the mountain, and then we got the green hell, and then we have Suzuka. I don't even know what they call that, but I know that's probably the hardest track in Japan. So I do. Yeah, you're right. Anything can happen. You think about putting a foot wrong at Bathurst, and it will eat you alive. And we don't have to talk about Nürburgring, to Nordschleife combined with the F1 track. We don't even have to go there. We all know how hard that is. So we're gonna be putting in work to make sure that we stay comfy for the points. But it really is hard to be mad at P2 after everything considered.
Last thing here I got for you is, so we talked about in the pre-race potential, you got trap games in football and then, those kind of sports and stuff where you kind of maybe overlook a track or an opponent. Did that ever come into play here tonight? At a very, manageable track, but I know the rain was thrown into the mix here, but then you got these next couple tracks that are just absolute gauntlets. Did that ever come into play here today?
Yes and no. You don't, like I said earlier, Colin, really good guy. Obviously, a competitor. So don't get that twisted. But you want to try to just do it straight up, of course, right? But we could think about next week. Bathurst. I think you guys pointed it out on the broadcast last season. there's a really good bait you could send people into pit road here with, and at Bathurst, and I think maybe, you know, if we're close again, we might end up using that next week. Who's really to say? But I know that qualifying is really important there too, and it just always puts on a good show. So I love looking forward to the next 3 races on the schedule for myself, though.
Yeah, no, qualifying is going to be huge because you want to be the first one up the mountain. You don't want to be the 5th, 6th, 7th one going up the mountain, because bad things can happen if you're not the first car.
We've seen some track blockers. We sure
Yes.
have, and even in real life, you know, they aren't immune to it. So why the heck wouldn't we?
Yep. All right. Well, congrats on the second. And anybody want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, huge shout out to you guys at Core, all the viewers as well. I can't wait to watch this one. Definitely going to be a lot of fun stuff to cover with the rain. Thank you to everybody that supports me privately as well. Team Conti Sim Performance, Martin PC, Digital Sim Sports, Pre-Beer and Hot Wings Morning Show. Everybody that watches me, roots me on, and all the guys here in the league showing up to a challenging track by default, and then we put rain on it. And from what I'm told, it was pretty well received. Everybody had not only a good time, but looked like it put on a pretty competitive race as well. So yeah, just good stuff all around, and really excited to close this, continue this momentum, close the season out.
All right, we'll let you celebrate the second, and we will see you next week and see if you can be the first one up the mountain.
Would love it, man. Have a good night.
All right, we'll see you.
That is your second place finish here tonight in the pro class, the 3 of Craig Jancic. Last but certainly not least is your winner here tonight, the 19 of Colin Winslow. And Colin, you had to feel good about the night. You were fast in practice. You were clearly fast there in qualifying, grabbing the pole here on the night, and you were keeping Craig in tow there for quite a bit until you made the mistake. You gave him the gift, and I got to feel like once you got passed by him and DeLima at that point, were you feeling like that's it? I gave up my chance. That was my chance to win and going back to back. And I guess I got to try and settle in here for third or maybe second.
I'll be honest. No, it was more so I knew I had the pace to keep up with him. And so at that point, it wasn't so much I was worried about not having a chance. It was just being there for when or if they made mistakes. So that's really what I was thinking there was hopefully that I can just stay close enough to where if they made a mistake that I was there to take the opportunity. So
coming through the double left-hander, and you see the 3 spun around sideways off the track. What's going through your head there as you know it's late in the race? You know if you can get around him there, and he finally made the mistake that you can still capitalize it and make this a back-to-back.
Yeah, it's mostly just making sure that I maintain my lap times right, because there was a while in that race where I kind of sat back. I was trying not to push too hard. So basically, when you're in the rain, if you're riding on any kind of dry line in treaded tires, it heats them up so much and you're burning through some tread. And I'm trying to make sure I save enough tread so if a mistake like that does happen, that I'm able to stay ahead. And I think I did that well. I think I just got really lucky that Craig made that mistake. And it kind of feels like Monza backwards.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
I mean, I made the first mistake this time, and Craig made the second one.
So you get the back-to-back wins here, but it wasn't easy. I mean, you make the pass right there, he gets it back going, and you're about like maybe 2.5 seconds into the lead. But were you looking in the mirror? Were you looking at the relative? Were you seeing that time just get closer and closer on the final few laps?
Not at all. I think at that point it was more so about just running my race and driving the track how I knew how to drive a track. At that point, if I did look in the mirror, I was more so that's what makes you liable for mistakes, right? So it's more so just concentrating on the track in front of me and not who's behind me.
Well, certainly some good tools and tips, and I know Joe's always looking for them out there for any racer. That's the best mindset to have, is just head down and you do the best that you can do. If the other drivers are better, then they're better. Simple as that. But you just got to head down and do the best you can do, and that's what you did here tonight. You grabbed back-to-back wins here after winning last week at Sebring, pretty much wire to wire. And it could have been wire to wire here. It was just one little mistake and almost cost you the win, but you just had to wait for that other mistake from the other cars, and it seemed like everyone had at least one little moment here tonight, as the rain was a bit treacherous out here, and it took this fairly easy track out here, and probably the easiest one on the schedule, and turned it into a bit of a beast.
Yeah, I mean that's the way rain racing goes, right? I mean it's so easy to make a mistake. It's so easy. So when I do make a mistake early on in the race, I'm not down about it, because the chances that somebody in front of me is going to make a mistake is pretty high. It's super easy to make a mistake like that, and Craig made such an easy mistake to make, right? You just barely touch the paint and off you go. It's the same thing. It's the exact same thing I did at Monza. So I'm the whole time I'm following him, I'm just kind of hoping for that mistake.
So speaking of mistakes, we got to talk about it. We talked about it last week. You're second in points coming in here, and now you go back-to-back wins, gaining a little bit of points. Granted, it's only 2 points again here on Craig, but after talking with him, he's feeling confident. He's liking these last couple of tracks. He's liking where he's at in the points, and he's saying he just got to be consistent. He's not worried about the wins. It sounds like he's just kind of points racing. Then we hear him talk a little bit about you may be thinking about playing head games with some of these last couple of tracks. And to me, if you're talking about and thinking about head games, you're not feeling that comfortable. If you got to think about games out there and not running your own race, so are you getting a little maybe getting his head here a little bit with these back-to-back wins, and maybe sneaking up on him?
Look, Craig's my boy, and I hope I'm getting in his head, right? Like we're in the same Discord channel that entire race, right? So like I love talking to Craig during the race, right? It's so much fun. We're talking back and forth to each other the entire race. Yeah, I mean, I hope I'm getting in Craig's head. He's right.
I'd have loved to heard the comms when you guys both spun out. I would have loved to be in there for that one.
Hope for some pro class drama.
Exactly.
It's a long way to go, and unfortunately, it's going to take a lot more than Craig, spinning out into second place.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it goes. I'm going to keep doing exactly what I can do, and that's drive the track as fast as I can, and I'm just praying for a Craig mistake, like I've said the past 3 weeks. Today was a little bit helpful, but if he would have maybe hit the wall, I told him that during the race. I was like, he was like during the race, he was like, oh no, I'm spinning, and I was like, I'm thinking in my head, like I hope that rear wing hit the wall. But sure enough, he saved it just as much as I did. And in the rain, it's such a funny spin because it's so slow, right? Like
yes,
it feels
right
like slow motion.
Right what I said when you spun that time, like it's just a lazy spin is all it is, and you're just along for the ride, and it's a hopeless feeling when you spin it in the rain, because as soon as you start spinning, you can't do anything about it. Doesn't matter if you steer with it, counter steer, you're just along for the ride, and it's so annoying. It's like your car is giving you the middle finger the entire time while you're sliding.
Yep. But absolutely.
But listen, I mean, all things considered, there's still 2 hours left in the season. It doesn't sound like a lot when you look at it that way, but 2 hours of the tracks that you guys got coming up, I mean, one little mistake, one mistake here, it's fine. There's plenty of runoff. There's plenty of spots that you can spin, slide off into kitty litter, whatever. You ain't having that little bit of a spin and a small mistake at Bathurst or at the Nordschleife, and certainly at some of the parts at Suzuka. You make a mistake there, and it could be night-night. So
yeah,
I'm certainly
there's
pulling for a little drama.
Yeah, there's a lot of walls around there, so you're hoping, and if you spin on the back half of the ring, that's a long way to tow. So your race is practically over, even for a faster pair. So that's really what I can hope for Craig, is somebody puts the pressure on him. If it's me, that'd be great, to push him into a mistake. And I'm also hoping maybe we get another rain race. Crossing my
listen,
fingers for that.
He can say he's confident all he wants, but I'm seeing through the curtain here. I can see he's sweating. He's sweating. So let's keep that pressure on. And
that's the goal. That's the goal.
Let's make this both classes have a little bit of an epic battle at Suzuka.
Absolutely. Even if I can't pull out the P1, if I can at least, put the pressure on, that'd be good.
Exactly. Just pull a little, Fernando Alonso, back him up into the field a little bit, get him a little sketchy, and there you go. It's as simple as that. Not giving you any ideas. Just saying.
I don't know if you guys watched the first half of that race, but Renan, I was hoping Renan was there behind Craig to put some pressure on.
Oh yeah. He was trying to hang on for dear life for sure. But either way, once again, congrats on the win here. Back-to-back wins. Who do you want to give a shout out to or thanks to before we let you go?
Shout out to my grandfather and my dad as always, and they always watch. So.
All right. Well, hopefully they watch next week, and hopefully we can talk to you once again and maybe grab 3 in a row here and really put the pressure on and make that man in the 3 sweat a little bit more. But either way, take some time to celebrate here. Congrats again, and we'll see you next week at Bathurst.
All right. Thanks, boys. Have a good night.
You too. That is your winner here tonight in the Pro Class. Once again, the 19 of Colin Winslow. Joe, it's been another fun one here at CSRL. And just when you think all is settled, all is done and dusted, everything is set, this is the positions everybody's going to finish. No, let's just go ahead and pull the rug out from underneath you, and this is actually the way it's going to finish. So I love it. We said the word drama about 16 times in the broadcast. I'm gonna say it another time. I love me some drama at the end of these races.
Oh, we ain't done talking about drama, because I'm ready to see who's going to be first up the mountain next week, because these boys are going to be pushing extra hard, and you can just feel the competitiveness from both of them. And that's only going to make both of them better, I think. When you have somebody else who's got your pace and your speed and your passion, you can just hear it in both their voices, and they're just going to make each other better and faster. And that's good for us, Carl, because that gives us a lot to talk about and makes these go by fast and really entertaining for us. So it's it seems like I'm already excited for the next week, but they just put on such a good show, and watching these things, but the drama is building.
Yeah, I think the only thing that sucks about the whole thing is how quick they go, and it seems like as soon as we get into the action, it's over. But it's certainly. It's amping up here, and we just spent the last maybe half hour talking about the Pro Class. The M Class is set for a ridiculous epic finish, and 4, 5, 6 guys maybe involved in the championship running for the last 3 races over there, as everything just keeps getting mixed up, and the rain certainly shook up the standings here with your points leader finishing in 4th, one of the guys tied for 2nd finishing in 6th, probably a new points leader heading into Mount Panorama. There's just all kinds of things that are getting stirred up there, all kinds of storylines, just the way we like it. But it's been a fun one out here. Hopefully you all enjoyed it out there in CRN land. Thank you again to 4D Racewear for their sponsorship and their help here in the series. Thank you to Mr. Jim Dutton for putting on this series. It's been fun and broadcasting for him for sure. But for myself and Joe at the Red Bull Ring, we'll see you at the track.